A long time ago in eastern Nigeria, there lived a woman named Isioma. She was the wife of Okonkwo, the village hunter. Okonkwo usually went into the forest to hunt down animals, then took the meat to the village market to sell. But of late, his hunting had not been yielding, and this made him become so worried, as he was the sole provider in his home. Isioma always made it clear to him that she wouldn't work because it was his duty to always provide for her needs. Okonkwo didn't mind because his hunting always went well. Whenever Okonkwo came back with little proceeds from his hunts, Isioma would rain insults on him and compare him to his friends. This act made him feel terrible, so he kept going out every day to work hard, while Isioma stayed at home, eating, sleeping, and hanging out with her friend Kachi. Kachi was always one to brag about how she would never live with a man who found it difficult providing all her needs. She said that instead of managing with her husband, she would rather exit the marriage, and she advised Isioma to do the same. Isioma, without thinking twice, listened to her friend Kachi and made up her mind to leave Okonkwo. By the time she got home, she went into the room, packed all her belongings, and bid her husband farewell. She also let him know that since he couldn't take care of her the way other wealthy men took care of their wives, she wouldn't stay to suffer with him. Okonkwo pleaded with her to be a little patient with him and things will change for the better, but her mind was already made up. He was no longer himself. He felt so miserable and lonely because he loved his wife so much. He felt betrayed and almost committed suicide, but it was his friend Isioma that consoled him and encouraged him not to give up. Isioma cheered Okonkwo up and advised him that Isioma was never good for him, and it was a good thing that she finally left. Okonkwo spent the following months locked up in his house, still wishing Isioma never left him, but he finally summoned courage to go back to his hunting. One fateful day, Okonkwo went out to hunt as usual, and on his way back, he came across an elderly man in so much pain sitting by a tree. He quickly put down his catch and rushed to assist the old man. The man kept saying he fell down and hurt his knee. Okonkwo decided to assist the man back home as he could barely walk. They got to the old man's house and he was so grateful to Okonkwo for taking out time to care for him. Okonkwo also gave him some meat from the animal he caught. The old man couldn't contain his joy. He was so happy with Okonkwo and told him that he had a gift for him. He limped into the house and brought out a treasure chest and told Okonkwo to take it home. Okonkwo curiously asked him what was in the treasure box, but the man informed him that the treasure box should not be opened till after 30 days. And when the treasure box is opened after the 30 days, Okonkwo will become a very wealthy man. This was like a dream to him. All that he had ever wished for was coming to him on a platter of gold. The old man once again reminded him that the treasure box should not be opened till after 30 days, else there will be great consequences. Okonkwo was a very patient man, and waiting for just 30 days before he became wealthy was not a problem to him. He quickly grabbed the box and ran home. He didn't want to tell anyone about his encounter with the old man till after the 30 days, but he couldn't contain his joy, so he told his friend Isioma. Isioma was happy for him and advised him not to tell any other person about it, because not everyone might be happy for him. Okonkwo's only regret was that his wife Isioma was not there to enjoy this with him, but Isioma told him that it was for the best. Isioma, on the other hand, found it really difficult providing for herself. She thought it would be a bed of roses, but the more she worked, the difficult it was making money. She was exhausted and she decided to go to her friend Kachi to complain about how difficult life had become for her. On getting to Kachi's house, she overheard Kachi's husband telling Kachi to give him her part of the monthly contribution. Isioma was shocked. I thought Kachi said she could never provide a dime for her family as long as her husband was still alive. She couldn't believe that Kachi lied to her and advised her to leave her husband. She felt even more foolish for taking such a deceitful advice because she knew Okonkwo did his best, but her greed made her want more. She made up her mind to go back to Okonkwo with the hopes that he would take her back in. It was a week since Okonkwo had met with the old man, so one day while he was with his friend Izuna, they received an unexpected visitor. It was Isioma. She came back with her belongings, begging and asking Okonkwo for forgiveness and to take her back in. Izuna whispered to Okonkwo that he wouldn't advise him to take her back, but Okonkwo was so happy to see Isioma. He accepted her immediately with open arms. He asked her to come in, and because he was too happy, he quickly told her about the old man he had met at the forest and showed her the treasure box. She was so surprised. "So we are finally going to be rich?" she asked Okonkwo. She couldn't believe it. Several days passed and Izuna met again with his friend Okonkwo. Okonkwo finally opened up to his friend and told him that he told Isioma about the box. Izuna was furious. How could you tell someone who abandoned you for selfish interests about the treasure box? Izuna scolded Okonkwo. Isioma was a selfish and greedy woman, and Izuna let his friend know that he made a terrible mistake telling her about the box. But Okonkwo believed she had changed. Isioma was so excited about the treasure box, and whenever she was alone, she would spend most of her time admiring it. She couldn't wait for the 30 days to elapse so that they could start living in wealth. This excitement made her feel proud, and she started going around buying things on credit. She went to the market and bought the most expensive materials on credit, and she wouldn't fail to tell everyone that her husband was about to become very wealthy. Over the next 2 weeks, the vendors kept demanding for their money, but she told them to be a little patient. She kept on acquiring more and more debts. So one day, while she was at home, she heard a knock at her door, and when she opened it, she saw one of the vendors she owed with a police officer. The woman had been patient enough with her, but since she had not still paid her debts, she was going to get arrested. It was day 28, and just 2 more days left before the box could be opened. She pleaded for them to give her those 2 days, but they refused. She excused herself and went inside and thought of what to do. She couldn't risk getting arrested. She never wanted to face the shame that came with it. So she pulled out the treasure box and she was so tempted to open it. She foolishly thought to herself that since it was just 2 days left before the box could be opened, the worst thing that could happen was that the money wouldn't be as much as it would have been if she had waited for the complete 30 days. She would then take some of the money and pay all her debts. While all this were going on, Okonkwo had just returned home from hunting, and he saw the commotion at his house. The policeman explained what was happening to him, and he immediately ran in because he knew his wife couldn't be trusted. By the time Okonkwo got in, Isioma had already started opening the box. He screamed for her to stop, but it was already too late. Wild animals of all kinds began jumping out of the box and attacked them. Isioma realized how foolish and greedy she had been, but the animals came in full force and attacked Okonkwo and his wife. What we can learn from this story is that greed can blind us and make us act foolishly. So it is advised that we are content with what we have. We should also be capable of differentiating bad and good advice so as not to make a wrong decision. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notification to get notified when next I post a new video. Bye!